Your Honor, at this time, the state would call Officer Casey Guskiewicz.
Okay.
Raise your right hand, place your left hand on the Bible. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the evidence you're about to give the court in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Yes, Mr. Sidney. I'm going to do it in the back.
This one.
You'll state your full name and spell your last name.
Sure. Casey Guskiewicz, Guskiewicz.
Mr. Guskiewicz, where are you employed, sir?
The Horry County Police Department.
And how long have you been working for them?
7 years.
What do you do?
Assigned the patrol division, currently with the rank of corporal.
What's that mean, corporal? I'm a civilian. I don't know what that means.
It's a shift supervisor position.
So you are a supervisor?
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been in that position?
For approximately 1 year now.
So you were employed with the Horry County Police Department back in 2013.
Yes, sir.
What'd you do then?
I was a patrolman. Basic functions were answering calls for service, traffic enforcement, and being a deterrent of crime just through officer presence.
Did you do, and you may have said this, did you do patrols?
Yes, sir.
So you're actually in a car riding around town.
Yes, sir. I was assigned to the Central Precinct and specifically Sector 14.
Tell us what that means.
Horry County is divided into 4 precincts, and each precinct is then divided into individual sectors, and then each officer is assigned to that specific patrol sector.
What does Sector 14 entail?
Sector 14, it contains parts of Conway, mostly the 544 corridor, 544 into Conway near Singleton Ridge Road, and part of Myrtle Beach, which includes the Sockasty and Peachtree area.
So the Peachtree area and Mill Pond Road and 814, that is all contained in Sector 14?
Yes, sir.
So the bottom line is, if you were patrolling Sector 14, you would have been patrolling Peachtree Road?
Yes, sir.
Were you patrolling Sector 14 back in December of 2018?
Yes, sir.
Were you specifically working on December 2013?
2013, yes, sir. My shift was scheduled to start at 5:45 p.m. on December the 17th, and it was scheduled to end at 6 a.m. on Wednesday the 18th.
I'm showing you now what's been marked for identification purposes. It states number 32. Can you take a look at that and tell us generally what that is, sir?
Sure. What we're looking at here is an aerial view of the Highway 814 in the Peachtree area.
And is that a fair and accurate representation of that area?
Yes.
Is this a 3D model? Is this an aerial? What is it?
It's an aerial view.
And it does accurately reflect that area?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, permission to enter states 32 in evidence.
Objection. Objection. States 32.
Permission to publish, Your Honor. So on December 18th of 2013, you were patrolling in part this area of Horry County, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember your patrol that day?
Specifically?
Do you remember anything of note that evening?
Yes, absolutely.
I'd like you to come down here, if you will, and show us the route you took when you were patrolling that area and what times you took those routes, if you don't mind, sir.
Sure. So at approximately 3:45, to close to 4 o'clock, I was
AM or PM?
Excuse me, AM. I was on Highway 544, and I was beach bound. Again, let me skip 42 here. And then from here, I made a left-hand turn
Mm-hmm.
onto Dick Pond Road.
Okay.
And then from Dick Pond Road, traveled down and made a right onto Peachtree Road.
Now, you're following along Peachtree Road with your finger right now?
Yes, sir, right here.
Okay.
Peachtree Road. From Peachtree Road, I stopped here to check this first boat landing underneath the 544 big bridge. It's called the Soxie Yacht Basin Landing. And from there, after I checked it, I traveled directly to the Peachtree boat landing at the end of Peachtree Road.
So let's talk about that. Point to that. You said there's another boat landing on Peachtree Road other than Peachtree Boat Landing.
Yes, sir.
And you patrol both of those?
Yes, both of those are included in the patrol sector. Yes, sir.
And if you're going the route that you went, show me the first boat landing you would come to.
The first boat landing would come to is right here underneath the Sockasty, the Highway 544 bridge, and it's called the Sockasty Yacht Basin Landing.
Right?
It's between two gated communities.
So you absolutely did patrol that boat landing as well?
Yes, sir.
Did you see anything of note when you patrolled that boat landing?
No, sir.
Is that boat landing well lit?
It is, yes, sir. Again, it's between two gated communities, and there's lights underneath there.
All right, so tell me where you go from there. How long do you spend at that boat landing?
Not even more than a minute there at that boat landing.
After you leave that boat landing and you didn't see anything of note, show me what route you took.
From that boat landing, I would have made a left onto Peachtree Road and went directly to Peachtree boat landing.
Now, when you got to Peachtree boat landing, do you know about what time it was?
It was shortly after 4 o'clock.
Dark outside.
It's very dark, yes, sir.
Let me ask you about Peachtree boat landing.
Sure.
In 2013, is it a well-lit area?
No, sir.
There are a lot of people there,
Not at that time of night, no, sir.
a lot of cameras,
There's no cameras.
a lot of activity.
The reason why we patrol and check that area every now and then, catch people down there using the boat landing for reasons that it's not intended for its use. People would be down there occasionally drinking, smoking marijuana, having intimate relations every now and then. So that's one of the reasons why I was part of the patrol sector. Routine patrols, check it.
So when you got there at about 4 a.m. on December 18th, 2013, tell this jury what you saw.
When I got to the boat landing, as you approach the Peachtree boat landing, there is a traffic sign that indicates that there's a stop sign coming up. And once you get to that next stop sign, that was what I would call the entrance to the Peachtree boat landing. That stop sign is there just to get you to stop, because if you don't stop, you're going to go directly into the Waccamaw River. There's nowhere else you can go. Once I came to that stop sign, just parked off to the right side of the stop sign was a dark and colored Dodge sedan.
Do you remember what kind of Dodge it was?
I believe it was an Intrepid.
Okay, what color was it?
It was dark in color. I don't recall exactly what the color was.
Do you remember if it was a 2-door or 4-door?
It was a 4-door, yes, sir.
Okay. Was it on? Was it running?
It was not running, no, sir. It didn't appear anybody was inside of it.
Did it appear to be in good working order?
Yes, sir.
Were the tires flat?
The tires were not flat. Didn't seem to be anything else mechanically wrong with it.
No, didn't look like it had been crashed or anything.
No, sir. After I ran the plate, the license plate came back to a local address and a subject with the last name Elvis. I got out of the vehicle to inspect the vehicle. All the doors were locked. The windows were rolled up. Again, the tires were in good condition. There didn't appear to be anything mechanically wrong with it. The ignition hadn't been tampered with. Again, the license plate said it was not a stolen vehicle. So after I checked the vehicle, made sure that it was secure, I checked the surrounding areas to make sure that there was nobody either in the water or there was no other vehicles parked there, and that's why I left.
You said you ran the plate.
Yes, sir.
Did you find the car to be suspicious?
No, there was nothing suspicious other than the way it was parked.
Tell me about that. Tell the jury about that. What do you mean?
Again, at the time, the Peachtree boat landing was basically just a paved parking lot. There was no actual parking spaces, and really no direction as to where you should park your vehicles, but most people would park as close as they could facing the river or facing off, I believe, north direction towards the swamp area. Excuse me.
And
It was not in either one of those places. It was just like it pulled into the stop sign and made a quick right and just came to a stop right there.
Did the way the car was parked seem to impede the use of the landing? I mean, if someone wanted to drop a boat, could they have dropped a boat?
Yes, they could at the time. There was, with it being the only car there, yes, but if it became more populated, it would be in the way, yes.
But what you're saying is normally when you saw cars parked at the landing, they weren't parked in this fashion. Now let me ask you this. As you were coming down from Dick Pond Road towards Peachtree Boat Landing, how many cars did you see, officer?
None that I can recall, sir.
Let's talk about the area you're in. Is it a very commercial area?
No, sir. It's mostly residential. There's a few businesses, but not many.
On Peachtree Road, are there any gas stations?
No, sir.
Are there any convenience stores? Are there any outlet stores,
No, sir.
retail stores of any kind?
No, sir. Nothing.
So generally speaking, this is a residential area.
Yes, sir.
Is it a well-lit residential area?
No, sir.
Not a lot of street lights,
No, sir.
traffic lights?
No, sir.
After you called the car in and it did not come back stolen, you said it came back to an Elvis.
Yes, sir. I remember that being.
What did you do?
As far as
Your patrol. How did you continue your patrol?
again, beyond it just being a vehicle parked in the boat lane, there was no other reason to bother with the vehicle. So I resumed my patrol. I exited Peachtree Boat Landing through Peachtree Road, which is the only way into the boat landing. And from Peachtree Road, I made a left onto Mill Pond Road.
Can you show us with your finger exactly the route you took, please?
Sure. Again, Peachtree Boat Landing, Mill Pond Road, which is here, is highlighted in green, and takes this way up towards Highway 814.
Okay, so you followed Mill Pond Road to 814.
Yes, sir.
Do you go out here back to 544?
Nope, went to Highway 814, to the end, all the way back to 544 that way.
When you got on to 814, is there a traffic light right here?
No, sir, it's just one single stop sign coming from Highway 814 when it intersects here with Mill Pond Road.
So the stop sign can be seen coming from 814, but can it be seen coming from Mill Pond Road?
No, sir. Highway 814 is actually especially that time of night, it's dark. Unless you know it's there, you're going to drive right past it. There's no signage indicating that it's there.
So if you wanted to get on 814, you kind of got to know where it is?
Yes, sir.
But you know because you're familiar with the area.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this. When you get on the 814, when you turn left off of Mill Pond Road on the 814, what's generally on 814?
Just a bunch of residential areas.
No gas stations?
None.
No stores?
No, sir.
No retail outlets of any kind?
No, sir.
Is it well lit?
No, sir.
Are there any stoplights?
No stoplights, excuse me.
Tell me this.
Sure.
After you turned left on the Highway 814 off Mill Pond Road, well, no, let's back up. After you left Peachtree Boat Landing and went up Mill Pond Road, how many cars did you see?
None that I can recall.
When you got to Highway 814 and you turned left, how many cars did you see?
Again, none that I can recall.
Well, as you went up 814, show me the route you took again, please.
814, right there was a stop sign, and it elbows right back to Highway 544.
So there's not an outlet here except to go back to Highway 544.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
At this point, yes, that's the only way to get there.
Show me Highway 544.
This is Highway 544 right here.
Let me ask you this, officer. From 814 to Mill Pond Road, other than Mill Pond Road itself, that leg of it, are there other roads that lead to Highway 544?
Highway 814 again intersects directly with Highway 544 with a functioning traffic light.
Sure.
If you head back down towards Mill Pond Road, this is Roscoe Road right here. It actually T-intersects with Highway 544 at a stop sign. Now there's two small residential roads here that you can sneak past and get back to Highway 14. The names are going to be confusing, but there's a small road named Peachtree Lane, and it intersects with Peachtree Drive.
Right.
And then Peachtree Drive leads out to Highway 544.
You say these are routes that would generally be known by local residents.
Only by local residents only.
Are there stop signs, stop lights at these routes?
There's a couple stop signs, in the residential areas off of Peachtree Lane and Peachtree Drive. That's it.
If I'm on 814 and I want to get to 544 the quickest way, how do I go?
If you're on Highway 814 and you're trying to get 544 the quickest,
Yes.
it depends on which part of Highway 14. Again, you can go directly to Highway 14 from this area,
Right.
or Roscoe Road.
Okay.
It's probably the easiest, or come down Mill Pond Road.
Let me ask you this. If I'm up here at the corner of Highway 814
Yes, sir.
and I want to get to 544, would I go down 814 and Mill Pond Road all the way down to Peachtree Road?
I would not, that doesn't seem like a reasonable way. It seems like we would just go straight to Highway 544.
Okay. Where are the closest stores and commercial and retail areas to Highway 814 and Mill Pond Road?
The ones that are open that time of night?
Sure.
That time of night, I would say there's some convenience stores down here on the other side of the Intercoastal Waterway down here in Sockasty, and then closer up towards Conway, near the Myrtle Ridge area, there's a convenience store there that's open that time of night.
Okay. Are you familiar with where the defendant lived in 2013?
On that night, no, sir. But
Have you become familiar with it since the investigation began?
yes, sir.
Can you point it out on that map
It's right here.
and indicated by that red dot?
Yes, sir.
How far would you say from where you just indicated the defendant lived to Peachtree Boat Landing? How far would you say that is?
It's about a little over 3.5 miles.
And how do you know that?
I've measured it.
About how long driving the speed limit would it take you to get from the defendant's house to Peachtree Landing?
A little over 5 minutes.
So to go from the defendant's house to the landing and back, approximately 10 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Now, you did say there were a couple shops or something to that effect on Mill Pond Road. Are you familiar with a place called DNS Site Works?
Yes, sir.
Can you indicate where that is on that map?
DNS site work is marked right here on Mill Pond Road.
Officer Guskiewicz, what is DNS Site Works?
I believe they clear land for development.
Okay. Okay, so grading basically.
Basically, yes, sir.
Is it open? Is that the only commercial building or type facility on that road?
On Mill Pond Road?
Yes.
Commercial, yes, and then there's a small mechanic shop that's on Mill Pond Road, not too far by, and then there's also a dog room place not too far away as well.
Okay. So to go the route you took from Peachtree Landing up back to, tell me where I'm at up here again? The corner of 814?
Yeah.
You had to pass by DNS Site Works.
Yes, sir.
Officer, were you aware back in 2013 as you were patrolling that area of any cameras or surveillance equipment at DNS Site Works?
No, sir, I was not.
Have you become aware since then?
Yes, sir.
Have you had the opportunity to see a video from that night from DNS Site Works, a surveillance video?
Yes, I have.
And were you able to see your car on that video?
I was, yes, sir.
And how did you identify it as your car?
When the car tries past the camera, the lights in the parking lot, you can see the Oregon County Police decal on the side of the vehicle reflecting off of it.
And about what time was that you saw it?
It's about 10 minutes after 4.
Okay. And that would coincide with you being at the landing right about 4:03?
Yes, sir.
Speaking of which, what time did you call the car in or check the tag?
Right about 4:03.
How do you know that?
I was able to get the information from dispatch by asking them.
So your car goes by that camera about what time? You said 4:10,
I believe it was 10 after 4, yes, sir.
and you didn't see any other vehicles on that road?
I don't recall any, yes, sir.
How about people? Did you see any people on that road?
There's nobody walking, and if somebody's walking that time of night in that area, I mean, especially that time of year, being cold, I would have stopped and see if they needed help.
Would you say the road was desolate that night?
It was pretty clear, there was nobody around.
Go back to Peachtree Landing real quick. When you got there and you saw the car, were you able to see the water?
I could see the water, yes, sir, with obviously using a light, so.
Why'd you look in the water? Just doing natural police work?
Just taking a walk, yes, sir.
Did you see anything in the water?
I did not see anything in the water, no, sir.
Did you see any signs of a struggle at Peachtree Boat Landing?
There was nothing indicating that struggle took place, no, sir.
Did you find any artifacts? Did you find a telephone?
Nope, didn't find anything.
Did you find any car keys?
No car keys,
Did you find a pocketbook?
nothing.
Was anybody swimming in the water?
Nobody was swimming, no, sir.
Did you see anything out of the ordinary at Peachtree Boat Landing?
No, sir, just the vehicle.
Okay. Please have a seat for just one second, sir. Officer, I'm showing you now, well, let me show the defense counsel first, please. Officer, I'm showing you what's been marked for identification purposes. It states 35, 36, and 37. Take a look at these if you don't mind, sir.
Sure.
Do you recognize those?
Yes, sir, I do.
What are those?
These are photographs that are taken with the solicitor's office. What we did, we used a vehicle to approximate the position of her vehicle parked at the boat landing that night, and as well, my vehicle parked behind hers to show how I was parked whenever I pulled up to the boat landing.
So what you're saying is that's basically a reenactment,
Yes, sir.
and you were a participant in that?
I was, yes, sir.
So it's safe to say that you were present when those photographs were taken?
Yes, sir, I was present.
And obviously, you said this, I just want to clarify so that we're not misleading anybody. Those were not taken on December 18, 2013?
No, sir.
Why did you choose that night to reenact those photographs?
We chose this time of night just to kind of recreate the approximate time that I stumbled, I shouldn't say stumbled, but when I came across the vehicle at Peachtree Boat Landing, as well as the lighting,
What do you mean the lighting?
just to show how dark it was down there.
And is that a fair and accurate recreation of what you saw on December 18th?
Yes, as close as we get.
Your Honor, at this time I would tender states 35 through 37.
Any objection?
No objection.
Without objection, 35 to 37 each being photographed with it.
And Your Honor, I would ask to publish.
Sir.
Again, officer, the car in front of your car is not the car you found, and it's not even the color of the car you found that night, correct?
No, sir, it's not.
But it is parked in a similar or exact same fashion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, officer, after you patrolled Sector 14 on December 18, 2013, did you have an opportunity, other than this reenactment that they're looking at pictures of, did you have an opportunity to do anything else in assisting with this investigation?
Yes.
Tell us what you had a chance to do there.
Again, with the solicitors, we were able to use a Dashcam to do a video recording of the route that I took that night. And again, it was recorded at the same time and also on using a full moon, which would have been the same kind of lighting conditions in that night, December 18th.
And you used a dash cam. Would it be the same kind of dash cam that you had the night you found Heather Elvis's car?
Yes, sir.
Court's indulgence, Your Honor.
Sir.
I'm showing you now what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 34. Tell me if you know what that is.
I believe this is the disc containing the video
The video of what?
of my dash cam from that evening.
How do you know that that is the video of your dash cam?
That's got my initials on it, sir.
Okay. Permission to enter State's 34 in evidence, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
Without objection, states 34 is admitted.
May we publish?
You may.
Thank you, sir. While they're getting that ready, I want to clarify one more time. This is a recreation of the exact route you drove.
Yes, sir.
And did you see the same things, or lack thereof, that you saw that night?
Yes, sir.
In this video, are we going to see any other cars on the road?
No, sir.
Any people walking?
I think it was a dog.
A dog? But no people?
No people.
Okay. And the lighting's the same?
Yeah, again, we chose that time, that specific day to simulate the same night, December 18th, 2013.
That would work.
Can you see this, officer?
Yes, sir.
Because I'm going to ask you some questions as it's playing. So I want you to be able to see it, okay?
Did you need me to step down again?
I don't think so. If you can see it, then
Okay.
I'll just stand up here and we'll talk and narrate as we watch. Tanya, I'm ready when you are. All right, officer. Who's this driving?
I am driving this vehicle.
And about what time of night is it?
It's right about 4 o'clock.
And what area of the county are you in here?
Right here, we're at the Circle K gas station, which is at the corner of Forest Brook Road and Dick Pond Road.
Where are you driving towards?
Right now, I'm on Dick Pond Road, headed towards Sockesty and Peachtree Road.
And this is the same route you took before?
Yes, sir.
Tell me where you at.
This is the Sockesty Yacht Basin Landing. It's a boat landing that leads into the Intercoastal Waterway. This is the one that's underneath the 544 bridge, and it's the one that's surrounded, or it's bordered by 2 gated communities.
And didn't you say this is the more well-lit of the 2 landings?
Yes, sir.
But this is not the landing you found Heather Elvis's car?
No, sir.
Where are you going now, officer?
This is Peachtree Road and headed towards Peachtree Boat Landing.
Is that the dog you were talking about?
That will be the dog, yes, sir.
Is that the only thing different that you saw that night
Yes, sir.
versus the first night?
Yes, sir.
Tell me where we are.
Right here, this is the entrance to Peachtree Boat Landing.
Where was Heather's car?
I've angled it just right where my car's angled. It's parked right there with spotlight points.
Right in the middle.
It's a little bit further back than the spotlight,
Okay.
like a little bit closer to my vehicle.
And how was it oriented? Was the bumper facing you or was the front facing you? Was the rear bumper or the front bumper?
The rear bumper's facing me, the front was facing the water.
Now, if you keep driving there, if you don't know the landing's there, if you keep driving, you're just gonna go off in the water?
Straight into the water, sir.
Other than the car not being there, is it just about as quiet and dark right now as it was the night you saw her car?
Yes, sir. And some of the cosmetic things they've done to dress it up, like those guideposts and stuff, were not there.
I take it you're back on Peachtree Road?
Peachtree Road, yes, sir, heading back towards Mill Pond.
Where are you going here, officer?
Making a left on the Mill Pond Road, headed towards Highway 814.
Talk to me, officer. Where are you going now?
Just turn left on Highway 814 from Mill Pond Road.
Were there any signs that indicated for you to turn left there if you wanted to go on 814?
No, sir.
What would have happened if you'd have kept going straight on the Mill Pond Road?
Mill Pond Road intersects with Highway 544.
And again, tell me how many cars you've seen.
Haven't seen any yet.
Where are you turning?
We're still on Highway 814. That's the stop sign. It elbows back into Highway 544. If you look at the distance, you see the traffic light.
And also, that was the same route and same site you saw on December 18th, 2013?
Yes, sir.
We're almost done, officer. I'm going to show you now what's been marked for identification of states. 33. Tell me if you know what that is.
Again, it's another aerial view of a map indicating the Peachtree Boat Landing and a residence labeled 8786 Highway 814, Moore's residence.
Does this accurately reflect where the Moore's residence is in relation to Peachtree Boat Landing?
Yes, it does.
And nothing else on there? Nothing else indicated?
Nothing indicated, no, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, I would tender states 33.
Your judge,
I haven't seen it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
good job.
No objection, Your Honor.
Very well, without objection, state 33 is admitted.
And Your Honor, briefly, permission to publish this.
They do so.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, and for the jury's edification, tell them one more time what this is, please.
It's an aerial view, it's a map, and again indicates where Peachtree Boat Lane is located. It's like close to the upper left-hand corner.
Right?
And again, residence labeled 8786, if you read it correctly, Highway 814, Moore's residence.
And this is the route you took that night?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, officer. Answer any questions the defense may have.
They cross-examine.
Thank you, I'll be very brief.
Sure.
Well, I tell you what, you need it, never mind.
Leave it up.
I don't think I'm gonna use it.
Okay, that's fine.
Guskiewicz, I'm glad we did have the video. We're talking about the two different landings. I'm sorry. It's okay. All right, now we go. All right, so we have two different landings, right, on Peachtree Road?
Yes, sir.
I think the first one is called Drawbridge Park, or Drawbridge Landing, or something like that.
Yeah, when on dispatch the calls there, they refer to it as the SOC, the yacht basin landing.
Okay, but that's the one where 544 crosses over the Waccamaw River.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the landing is underneath the overpass there, correct?
Yes, sir. There's a dock and it leads into the intercoastal waterway.
And this is a pretty big landing, correct?
It's very sizable, yes, sir.
And there's housing developments on either side,
Yes,
right?
sir.
But those housing developments are, I guess, put it before you actually get to a residential structure, there's a fairly decent buffer between the public landing and when you would actually get to a residential structure.
They're both gated, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Now, when we go down to Peachtree Boat Landing, down at the end of Peachtree Road,
Yes, sir.
that is a very small landing.
Very small, yes, sir.
Okay, when you pull in, it's almost tough to kind of make a simple turn without doing a three-point turn, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, there's also housing sort of adjacent to that landing too, correct?
Yes, sir. There's at the time there's a thick wood line. On the other side of it is a small mobile home park, and there's a few houses back there as well.
And that mobile home park is, I mean, it's directly adjacent to the actual boat ramp where you put your boat into the landing, correct?
Yes, sir. It's, again, with the separated by the wood line.
In fact, some of those residents are almost looking directly into the landing area, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you mentioned a moment ago that you routinely check Peachtree Boat Landing.
Yes, sir.
Why was that? What causes you to go there with any type of frequency?
Like I stated before, there's times whenever you go down there and you see people using the boat lane for other than its intended use, which is to launch a boat or even fish. Sometimes people will be down there hanging out, drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana, and again, you know, intimate relations.
And it's at times known as sort of a makeout spot, correct?
Yeah, yes, sir. I've seen people down there do it. Yes, sir.
Okay. And at times, people go down there to, like you say, smoke pot or drink, correct?
Yes, sir.
Often high school or college age kids?
All ages, you'd be surprised.
Okay, all right. And it's been that way for a long time, true?
It's kind of not since they've added more lighting and cameras to the place.
Back in 2013, it had been that way, it had that status for...
Yes, sir. It's the reason why I check on a regular basis.
Okay. And that was probably generally known to the residents in that area, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That after dark, that this is, at least with some degree of frequency, a spot that has people down there.
Yes, sir.
Just briefly on your demonstration here.
Sure.
When was that actually performed, your sort of drive around?
The exact date I'm not sure of. I believe it was,
This calendar year?
I believe it was last year.
Last calendar year?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was 2018, that's about 4 years after Miss Ellis went missing and you drove down to the landing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And just to be clear, obviously, we're not wasn't a scientific endeavor, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did not compare your dash cam to the lighting gear and utilize any type of reverse photogrammetry or anything of that nature, right?
And other than just timing it at the exact same time in the moon, I guess the full moon, that's what I'm trying to say.
You went out late when it was also a full moon and just drove the same path.
Yes, sir.
Right, you couldn't, we can't precisely dictate or calibrate exactly how fast you may have been going from point A to point B or to point C or anything of that, right?
Yes, sir. It's driving speed limit.
You were just trying to show, to show and give a visual to the jury the route that you drove that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just wrong.
Sir?
I'm sorry, is it Guskiewicz?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Guskiewicz, on the night of, I guess the early morning of December 18th, did you go back, did you circle back on 814?
Yes.
Right.
Explain that.
Whenever you left Peachtree Boat Landing, did you come back through 814?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you pass the Moore home?
I would have, yes, sir.
You would have had to have passed the Moore home.
Yes, because at that point, 814 leads straight out to Highway 544.
Okay. No further questions, witness, Your Honor.
Redirect.
Nothing on redirect, Your Honor.
You may step down if you wish this witness to be excused.
We do, sir.
Any objection?
Okay.
You're also free to leave, sir. Thank you. Given the situation, we'll go ahead and recess for the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, you know you're not at liberty to talk about this case among yourselves or speak to anybody at home now. You have to because we hear the evidence is even more critical than yesterday because you didn't have anybody to talk about it. But please remember that tomorrow I'm going to put you under oath and ask if you observe that and not discuss this case with anyone, not watched any news accounts or any other programs about it, and not done any independent research. I'd ask you to be in your jury room, please, by 9:30 in the morning. Again, no need to call that number, and have a good evening. Tomorrow, we'll plan to go around 6 o'clock, if that still meets with y'all's approval, okay? And presiding juror, if at any time a juror has an issue with that, do not hesitate to let us know. We'll be happy to address it. Thank you so much. You're free to leave.